Hey, 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 this is your recap Aunty Shar. Hey, y'all, happy. We are here to talk about episode number 66 of Beyond the Gates. But before we do it, we're going to do some front porch talk before the gates open. How about that? And these are comments from all of my wonderful subscribers or the people who like to chit chat about the show and what's going on. So, yeah, we're going to do some front porch talk before we swing these gates open. So let's see. From our first comment, we got that from Sandra McFarland 2688. Hey Sandra, what's up, girl? She says, I'm sorry, y'all, but watching Ashley and Derek is like watching paint dry. I was so bored with their breakup scenes. Girl, me too. And Cynthia Judkins, my girl, she says, I usually put them on mute. Girl, I be normally like yawning through they damn scenes. So they be getting on my damn nerves. All right, the next comment we got from my soror, she always sends me hearts every day. Thank you so much, Zeta Yogi. I appreciate that, my love. All right, my next comment is from Miss Cynthia Judkins 2250. Hey, boo. She says, Danny, I understand where you're coming from, girl, but that was a bit much what you were asking of Haley. Girl, yeah, the piss on the stick. Girl, Sandra McFarlane was like, girl, can you imagine? Right? I'm like, girl, yeah, Danny didn't give a fuck. Danny was like, this is nothing compared to what she did to my whole life. So, yeah, it was a little bit, invasive, but look, that girl didn't pee on that stick, did she? The next comment is from Miss Crystal. Hey, Crystal Waters, 4426. She says, I think Andre is in love with Danny, but he won't admit it. He doesn't want to look like no fool. He'd rather just bounce. Yeah, that's what he is. He's a player. He's a world traveler, honey. He like to catch cat on every continent. But that particular fox, honey, what they call a cougar, caught his ass and pounced on him. Remember on the Lion King when they was tussling and what's her name? She said, Pinja. She was tussling with that nigga. She said, Pinja again. And that's what Danny did to damn Andre. She pinned his ass. Good for him. Next comment we have from Miss Welder, 69. She was responding to my art subject. I'm an artist. I love arts. I love the arts. I love statues. I love all black arts. She says she lives in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I will try to send you pictures and a video in your email. Yes, girl, just send me the pictures. I know videos can be kind of tough. So please send them. She said, we need to get to the June storyline going. It's either Haley's Miami, Samantha and Tyrell's mammy, or she could be Vernon's illegitimate child from him cheating years ago on Anita. Would be a good storyline. That would be good, right? That would be real good to think. Because, Vernon ain't get to that level being nice. We see that he be around there just sneaking around. I love me some Vernon, but damn. Okay, the next one is, again, from my girl Cynthia Judkins, 2250. She said, no one speculated a fourth member of the group. Right? Sandra had agreed with her. She's like, plot twist. Like, right. I'm thinking like it was like with the, maybe they did a mixture of like how, Destiny's Child. Remember they had four for a little bit, then they went down to three. That's what it feels like to me. They did like a mixture of like the Supremes, the Dream Girls, in mixture with Destiny's Child. That's what I'm thinking. That's this storyline because I wasn't expecting no fourth girl, and that the girl offed herself. Normally back then, a lot of black women didn't do that. It's more common now, but a lot of black women really, I guess their pride was so much in the way they didn't want to go back, to live in the projects like that. I'm like, damn, poor Barbara. Okay, we have Crystal Waters 4426. She says, your recaps are so great. It's like watching the actual episode. Oh, and I love the cussing too, girl. You damn right, girl. I got the cuss. Thank you so much, Crystal. That means a lot to me. One girl like last year when I was cussing on I can't remember what show. It wasn't this, it was something else. It's like, sis, we would really like it, but you using that type of language with I'm like, girl, you don't know me. Go somewhere else with that bullshit. You don't know me. And one thing about my mammy, my mama loved to hear me cuss. She really did. Although I used to be a first lady. But she did, which is a true story. I used to be a first lady, but that was like Bernie Mac said, long time ago. Long time ago. But yes, I feel like it's a way that I can be expressive. Of course, when I start monetizing, I might have to like cut it down just a little bit, but not enough to cut it out because I've seen some wonderful people on here who do content. They be cussing. We grown. My mom and daddy up in heaven, honey. I'm grown. I'm 54. I can do that shit. Hey, love you, Crystal. And we have Miss Welder 69. She says, so Leslie is saying she was wearing the same damn outfit that she was wearing 20 years ago when she met Ted. And Cynthia was like, girl, who does that? I don't know anyone who can still wear something from 20 years ago. Girl, y'all ain't never lied. That went right over my head. She thought she still got it. She's like, ow, I can still catch this nigga with my little long wig, honey, and my little lace, and telling him to bend over. Remember, she kept talking about how her and Ted did all these tricks, and then he went home and tried it on the car. That girl is sick. So she around here wearing 20-year-old outfits. Girl, that wig look every bit that, look like that damn private dancer, dancer for money. Oh, and then we have Raquel Batson, 3260. She says, Auntie, I'm so thankful for your recaps. I missed the last 15 minutes of the show due to the storms in my area. The weatherman broke in and missed the ending. Damn, he wouldn't make me be great, or you either, boo. Sounds like I missed some good scenes, but you took me right back. You're welcome, boo. Thanks for all your hard work and dedication to the show. Can't wait to see you make your debut on the show. Girl, from your lips to God's fingertips, honey. We gonna be on that show. Even you all gonna see me in the background like, oh my God, I know her. And then we have Cynthia Judkins again. So yeah. She talking about, so Naomi and Haley not calling 911. I'm pretty sure Bill was having a stroke, right? So Sandra was like, yeah, girl, like standing around looking all crazy, right? Like I told y'all in my comment, girl, they don't give a fuck about Bill. Naomi don't. She claims she don't, but she don't care about her pappy. And we know Haley is just using his ass. He just so happy and so footloose and fancy free with her old pissy nasty. Why in the world you waving a wet girl pregnancy stick? Is that what it is? Couldn't even think. When you get old, honey, your mind go blank. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to you guys right before the gates open. So thank y'all again. Keep talking, honey. I'm loving it. Y'all keep talking, having a good time, because this is what we're here to do. We get to smile and have a good time because there's so much other shit going on in the world. So here we go. We are going to go ahead and get started with our recap, full recap, with a little edit here and there of Beyond the Gates, episode number 66. Let go. Okay, we open up with Vernon coming into the great room, and we still see Anita sitting there staring into space, looking numb and I guess dead. I mean, I don't want to say that word because y'all already know about the letter, but she looks like she is just a ghost in the face. So Vernon slowly comes into the living room and sits beside her on the couch, and she says, Vernon, there's something I have to tell you. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Baby, the next scene we see Tide. Hey, Tide. I think that's the same one I got. And we see a lot of panties and drawers and bras on the floor. Whose house is we? And there's some sexy music playing in the background. Whose house is this? Honey, this is Danny and Andre. And she was like, oh, wow. I mean, you hear this man saying, breathe. Girl, they probably didn't have a chance to breathe. He just rubbing on her damn, legs and shit. They was, it had been like, what, 3 days since they had really did the oochie coochie. It was, it was simmering for both of them. I get it. Danny said, well, that was different. Shit. Andre was like, good different. She was like, fuck that. No, it was magnificent. Child, they both giggle. He was like, look, maybe we should do this shit more often. You know what I'm saying? She's like, boy, we just did. He's like, nah, I'm saying. That argument, I mean, it took us someplace we've never been before, I told y'all ladies, y'all know what it's like when y'all be mad with y'all significant other. I don't want to always assume that every woman has a man on here, but when you kicking it with somebody and y'all get mad and then you make up, That's the best kind of loving there is. Y'all know it. Y'all go ahead and say amen, Auntie. Amen. Hallelujah. Andre was like, that was the best that we ever done before. It left us open to this shit, this awesomeness. Danny was like, all the world should solve their problems just like this. I agree, Danny. I agree. She was like, I think that we just discovered the key to world peace. And he was like, nah, baby. We just discovered something. She was like, that you are the most perfect human specimen and that I am lucky enough to call my Mr. Right Now. Is that what we're talking about, honey? So he looks at her after he licked that bottom lip. He was like, look, I thought that we were, going to start being real with each other. He got that gold check chain around his neck, that afterglow, just a little bit of that chocolate glistening, Yeah. He was like, especially since after the way we just connected, I'm thinking like, man, I might be more than just a Mr. Right Now. You know what I'm saying? Girl, we at the hospital and we have Haley and Naomi carrying Bill to the office, honey. He can barely walk with his big ass. So they get off the damn elevator. So now Naomi was like, my father needs a doctor. Oh, now you want to own him. So Shanice is like, what the fuck? So they made him sit his ass down. So Shanice was like, Mr. Hamilton, what's the problem? He said, ain't no She was like, Naomi, what's the problem? Ain't no damn problem. I'm fine, he says. You notice Shanice was giving Haley shade. She asked Naomi, she ain't asked Haley. Go ahead, Shanice. So she was like, Mr. Hamilton, I understand, but as a lawyer, you know that the hospital is well equipped to keep your ass safe. So take a seat and I'll get you a doctor to check you out. So he was about to fuss her out, and so Haley was like, baby, sit. So Shanice was like, look, take off your damn jacket, please. So we see Dougie peering in the background. So he was walking toward them, and so he says, Bill? So Shanice is like, Dr. McBride, we need your help right now. So we see Naomi, everybody looking at Dougie coming up. Go ahead, Dougie. Dougie to the rescue. Go ahead, Dougie, while Vanessa's getting banged in the damn casino. So Dougie asked what happened. So Haley was like, well, he was talking and then, stuttering. And then he couldn't find his words, doctor. So Bill was like, can you believe that shit, Doug? The irony. I'm the talker. And I couldn't even find words. That's some shit. So Doug was tell Shanice, let's call Neuro. And so Bill was like, wait a minute, neurology? Wait a minute. Nah, we don't need that shit. Nah. So Doug was like, are there any other symptoms? And so Naomi get to talking, honey. She's like, yeah, there has been some numbness in his right hand. So Dougie was like, for how long? He's like, look, rarely. Look, will you please tell my wife and daughter that they making something out of nothing, man? Come on now. So Shanice was like, look, I'm going to make a medical history for him and I'll be right back. So Dougie was like, name. He know his name. Why you got to ask him that? So you can hear them talking in the background because Doug is asking him, what's your name? Where are you? To make sure to see if he had a stroke. So Naomi follows Shanice to the phone and she asks her, Shanice, did my pappy have a stroke? We're finding out. All right, we are at Uptown and we see Chelsea with her hair clips, honey. She looking real cute. I'm glad that she got rid of that. What she used to wear a lot. She used to wear the kinky wig. She's been wearing a lot of straight wigs and stuff. She looks really cute. All these hair clips going down the side. I don't know what that's about. So she sits down at the bar and then she sees this attractive woman with the royal blue shirt on just staring her down. And so Chelsea was like, So Naomi is calling her to tell her about her pappy. She pushes ignore. Girl, you trying to get some... Your daddy's sick. You get that pussy later. Next scene, we at the precinct and we see Kat coming there telling Jacob because he on the phone. Didn't even ask if it was okay for her to speak to him. She says, Leslie cornered me at Orphe Jeans and he just hung up the phone. So she tells him that now this bitch is threatening to sue her for defamation. She says we need to lock that murderous bitch up before her ass realizes that she's out of legal options. And so he says, I'm so glad that you came to me to tell me that Leslie has crossed another boundary. However, she's not the only one. So Kat was like, wait, you talking about me? So Jacob was like, Kat, there is no we in this, honey. Now I decide when, where, and how Leslie gets brought in. You don't tell me what to fucking do. He tells her that she should be investigating stores to market their new pocketbooks. Ooh. Kat was like, I'd be cool with falling back. I would. If I knew that your ass had a plan to shut her ass down. So she was like, so what's the move, Jacob? He was like, I don't report to your ass. She apologized. She told him she was sorry. She just said Leslie has been every damn where. Everywhere I go, she's go. She's right there. When I moved, I moved. She's right there. And she said it's kind of freaking me the fuck out. He was like, look, I know. I'm just doing my job and I am closing the walls on Leslie Thomas, whether she knows it or not, okay? I'm telling you, don't go to her telling her that we got her ass, because then she gonna skedaddle. Girl, the next scene, we at the hospital. And we see Shanice coming in with her, like some paperwork that she's just finishing with Bill. We see this fucking Leslie dressed up in the hospital with some hat and some shades. She trying to get to Laura. Or she's trying to get her hands on that damn video. It's too late, girl. It's in the cop's hands. She's trying to get into that video so she can get it. Girl, you the only criminal. You look so suspicious in a hospital with a choo-choo hat on. It looks like a railroad hat and some dark ass shades. But her body is bodying. So Shanice sees her ass and she was like, oh, heck no, hell no, bitch. I know exactly who the fuck you are. So Leslie says, excuse me, are you confusing me with someone else? Trying to talk like she French. Are you confusing me with someone else? I can't do French, y'all. I'm going to try. She's like, you're Leslie, a.k.a. Sherry, a.k.a. Anna, a.k.a. the witch that broke up the Richardsons. I know the fuck you are, bitch. She's like, oh, you're mixing me up with someone else. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Shanice was like, no, bitch, no. You dressed up as one of my fucking nurses and your ass tried to kill one of my patients. No one dishonors the uniform, baby. I'm out. I'm calling the security. Leslie reaches out for her, honey. So she's like, this is a public place, no? That Leslie is a fool. If your claims were true, I'd be in jail instead of free. That's what Leslie tells Shanice. To get my steps in wherever I please. Shanice was like, fuck that. You take a step towards one of them fucking rooms and I will stop you my damn self. And then with her normal accent, Leslie removes her sunglasses. She says, I'd actually love to talk to you. Shanice, right? You're the one that's running this whole show around here, right? And I could really use your help. I'm here to prove my innocence. Shanice is looking like big. Girl, that Ernestine, that's her real name. Shanice's real name. That girl don't be playing, honey. I love me some Ernestine. We back at the palace, baby. And we hear Anita telling Vernon, and he's looking concerned. And she says, I was going to take this to the grave with me, but no matter what, no matter how deeply I bury it, I just couldn't let it lie any longer. Maybe that's why I wanted to bring the articulates back together. So Vernon was like, I do know that I know it didn't go as well as we thought it was going to hope. It was going to go between all three of y'all. We thought it was going to go a little bit better, but it don't hell look like it. Ooh, she finally says it. She says, there were 4 of us. He's like, I don't understand. She says, there was a 4th articulate. There was a 4th articulate, and her name was Barbara. Vernon looked shocked. Damn, we found out that Barbara started the group and gave them their name. She was like, she gave us. Vernon gets up. He's like, take your time, sweetheart. You know how they used to do in church when you telling your testimony, you kind of pause. They say, take your time, baby, take your time. Well, that's what he's telling her. Take her time. So Barbara grew up with them in the neighborhood. She had this beautiful voice, and she had fire too, baby. She brought them together, and she also kept them together. They were sisters forever until they met that damn Dante. So Dante wanted them to do their best impression of pretending like they didn't come from the projects. She said girls who didn't come from the houses, but we know he wanted them to act the other persuasion. He wanted them to act like they were girls next door, but she does admit that they were all diamonds in the rough. But Dante felt that Barbara was even rougher than the rest of them. So that nigga thought he felt that he couldn't polish her up enough. He couldn't make her over. Vernon was like, I never liked that nigga. He said, man, but you know me. So Vernon was like, so Barbara walked away? So she turned around and looked at him. She just shook her head. Vernon. She says they listened to Dante. They were so ambitious. She changes. She said, not them, not us, not we, I. I was the one that was so ambitious. And Tracy and Sharon, honey, they would just follow me anywhere. I thought that Dante was our only way to start him. So I didn't back Barbara up at all. And I let Dante push her out of the group she started. And I have spent decades trying to distance myself from that girl from Cabrini Green who would do some shit like that. What I did to Barbara, turning my back on her, that's who I am. No, you're not, Anita. Girl, you worked hard at changing that. You're not that girl. So Vernon was like, oh, baby, honey, girl, you were so young. And Dante Green could have sold snake oil to a snake. She said she was old enough to know better. I chose fame over family because that's who Barbara was. I left her ass behind without a second thought. So Vernon was like, so that's why this reunion was so, hesitate. He said fraught for you. They so fancy. Y'all know the Duprees. She says there's no way to bring all the girls back together because Barbara's gone. He was like, oh man, she passed. I'm so sorry. She turned around and looked at him. She's like, I killed her, Vernon. Just as sure as if I had pulled that trigger myself. So we are back at Orphe Jeans and we hear Sharon's voice as they pan into the restaurant. So she's telling Tracy, she was like, look, girl, I've been thinking. If Anita can use us for backup and then throw us away, why the fuck can't we do the same? Tracy looking at her like, girl. Sharon says, I'm all for resurrecting my career on Anita Williams's back. I like that. I like that. So we're back at Danny and Andre. So she was like, so you are admittingly giving me some mind-blowing sex. And now you're demanding a new title? Okay. So what do you want to be called? The CEO? Ooh, Danny, she said the chief executive of orgasms. He's getting dressed and he's telling her, look, all I know is that when things fall apart for your ass, you come to Papa. You come straight to me to help you pick up the pieces. And then Danny was like, wait the fuck a minute. She was like, that is not only, he was like one-sided. I know, yeah, we pick up the pieces together. I know that. He's like, I was feeling mighty low when I texted you earlier, but you lifted me right back up inside that kid again. She was like, indeed I did. He was like, Danny, I don't know why you just don't want to admit it, that along with being excellent co-CEOs, that we are each other's ports in a storm. Go ahead, Andre. Andre need to go into poetry. Snap for him. Why don't you just fess up, baby, that we've moved from being casual to being something real? So Danny was like, so in this situationship, you want to stand on top of the world and declare that we have moved from cocktail to business attire. The cock. He's like, girl, you are really about the jokes tonight. You really are. She's like, I am recovering, boo, and my brain can't handle anything that deep right now, honey. You done pounded the fuck out of my brain against this headboard, and you want me to be deep. So she was like, besides, since we both work in fashion, it should be a shared terminology. Damn. He was like, okay, all right, I can roll with that. She was like, okay. So he was like, business suits? She was like, mm-hmm. So he's like, so pretty much you're saying that I'm right and we have moved on and, and we're more than mingling right now, right? She's like, ew, you want me to choke you, nigga? It's like, you're making it so difficult. Damn. He's like, or are you just trying to shut me up? She said, I know how to shut your ass up. And so the phone rings. Oh my God, please, Naomi, don't tell me that's you calling your mammy about Bill. Please, she's basking under Andre's glory right now. Please. I don't even want to push play, y'all. She see that it's Naomi calling. She says, uh-oh, daughter interruption. Let me take this. And I'm like, shit. It's Naomi. Naomi, what do you mean? What's happened to your dad? So we see Bill in the hospital and Haley is on one side of the bed and Dougie is on the other side of the bed. And Bill is telling them, look, y'all, I got work to do. I got to get unhooked from this piece of shit and get back to my office. Dougie is like, not until neurology weighs in. So Naomi looks at Dougie. She was like, do we know what's wrong with my dad? And Bill was like, not a damn thing. So Dougie was like, well, from your symptoms, Bill, something is wrong with your ass. So Haley was like, someone mentioned something about a possible TIA. Oh, here they go with these big words. Transient ischemic attack. I ain't saying that no more. Haley asks, well, what exactly is that? So Naomi was like, ain't the same thing as a stroke? And Bill was like, look, I ain't had no damn stroke, y'all. So Dougie was like, it's just a disruption of blood that flows to the brain. More like a mini stroke. So Naomi was like, I'm glad we got your ass here so fast. And Dougie was like, yeah, y'all did the right thing. So he says that many strokes can really be scary, but the symptoms usually abate within 24 hours. Then Haley was like, what's a bait? I'm just kidding. You are a bait. So Bill is still sitting in bed. He was like, see, no biggie. So but Dougie was like, well, that's more like a medium biggie, not a big bigly, but a medium. Y'all know what that bigly was from, girl. Anyway, so he says a TIA can be a warning for an actual stroke. Go ahead, y'all better teach us. Go ahead, Beyond the Gates. So they're going to keep him there overnight for observations and testing. So Bill just says, no, he ain't staying there. Then he looks at Dougie to my, what do you know about this shit? He said, you a heart guy. So Dougie was like, I did book you a consult with a neurologist, all right? To see if she can pinpoint where the numbness in your hand is coming from. And also the trouble that you had speaking earlier. And see what the next steps forward are for you. And there go Bill again. I am perfectly healthy. Push pause. Again, that's what I'm talking about, black folk. I talked about counseling yesterday. There's another thing. Some black people don't think that they need to go to the hospital, especially our black men. They will not go. Y'all better take your ass to the hospital. We need y'all here. We need y'all. Please listen to your lady. Take your ass to the hospital. Keep on top of your meds. Calm the fuck down. Because we losing y'all. I think black men die earlier in age than black women. We need y'all, bro. Bill talking about, I'm perfectly healthy. You know, people do die in these hospitals. And they do die in their bed, too, in the middle of their office. He looking all scared, talking about he don't plan to be one of them people to die in that hospital. The fade in and fade outs are much better today. Much better. They're not doing no hard cuts when it comes to each scene before they go to the commercial. It's a slow fade to black, and I like that. Thank you, Beyond the Gates. I don't know who was over that button yesterday, but y'all doing good today. Okay, so we're back with Kat and Jacob at the precinct. Thank you, Kat. She says she keeps kicking herself for putting on that damn jacket. She's like, what if I fucked up by using the only evidence that we had to nail Leslie and Eva with the DNA evidence? Damn. So Jacob was like, look, I got it handled. So Kat is like, well, tell me. You know I'm always here for good news. So he tells her that he did have an analyst compare the jacket that she gave him to the video of the person wearing the jacket that on that motorcycle that hit Laura and made her, her accident occur. He was like, there's still no proof that the jacket does belong to Leslie. She's like, oh my God, did they need for her to ride her ass in here on the motorcycle, waving around a potassium syringe for the DA to damn believe us? Damn. So while she's talking, the phone rings and he's like, Detective Hawthorne. All right, he hangs up to my boom. I got exactly what I wanted. So now we're back at the hospital with Shanice and Leslie. So Shanice is like, bitch, I don't have time for this chaos. Go take your ass on the first floor and bother security down there. And don't mention my damn name. So Leslie tells her that this could easily be her. And so Shanice was like, in what fucking universe? She was like, well, the one that's normally ran by the Duprees and owned by the Duprees. I mean, they do decide who's naughty and nice. I mean, like Kat Richardson, she has been picking on me because I upended your perfect little world. And that Shanice wants to bite that girl's bottom lip off with the look she's giving her. So Shanice was like, no, sweetheart, Kat is on your ass because you tried to kill Laura twice. I would never be in that position. So she says, did you see what they did to Danny? That's what Leslie says. They washed all of her sins away. She said, ooh, Shanice, I need connection to the divine Wi-Fi right now because this bitch's signal is weak. So the elevator door opened, and so Leslie's like, look, girl, all I'm saying is I would love to watch the footage with you. Girl! Shanice is like, bitch, I am working with the sick and dying. Yes, you're sick. She says, I don't have time for you. Then Leslie interrupts her and says, girl, we working girls have to stick together, right? Girl, listen, okay? Just I'll tell you what. Just give me the number to the security, honey, okay? I will dial them myself. Shanice grabs her. Do not touch hospital property. And Leslie's like, ooh. Leslie's like, can't you see I'm desperate? Please, Shanice. I mean, what would you do if you were in my position? Shanice was like, bitch, don't you see that we ain't got nothing in common? And there ain't no footage to see here. So if I were you, I would skip right on past security and take my ass right to the police. She said, they might not have nailed you yet, but I could spot a lace front wig a mile away. Let me repeat that. Let me finish laughing. They might not have nailed your ass yet, but I could spot a lace front wig a mile of fucking way. And it was you on that security footage Andre found. So she says, Andre? As in Andre Richardson? That's what Leslie said. Guess where she's going to go now? She's going to be rubbing all over Andre's dick. Excuse me. Area now. She's going to be sniffing around him now. She's a beautiful woman, but she thinks that her feminine wiles just make the men weak. They don't, because, girl, you just showed your ass at that damn wedding party. All the men in the room see how crazy you are. You're sexy, you're gorgeous and everything, but don't nobody want your ass. Whew, I'm tired of saying that sentence. Anyway, we're back at Uptown and we see Chelsea there still flirting with the lady, honey. So Chelsea goes over to the girl because the girl moves and she was like, we are both too gorgeous to be drinking alone. And the girl was like, did you just say that shit out loud? So Chelsea sits down and she says, well, I just have a habit of telling the truth. So the girl was like, I mean, thank you. She's like, I think I'm not used to honesty. So Chelsea was like, no? Well, let's talk a little bit about that. You were checking me out. I was checking you out. I figured that I would save us and the bartender a few steps and come over. So the girl was like, girl, I just have a habit of just staring off into space sometimes. So Chelsea said, then why don't you share some of those deep thoughts and throw in your name too? Or I just could call you gorgeous. Naomi back in the hospital fussing with her pappy, and she telling him refusing care is riskier than hanging out here for just one more damn night, Dad. So now Haley is like, baby, listen to Naomi and the doctor. So Bill was like, look, see, all right, see? He said, now I know I'm in the damn upside down. My wife just told me to listen to my daughter. Ooh. Naomi rolled her eyes like, oh, look, we are both right. So Bill was like, look, if I stay here, all they're going to do is watch me. It's like, my wife can do that, Haley. You can do that, can't she? He looks at Doug and asks him, yeah, right, she could do that. So Doug is with his doctor voice, actually, 1/3 of TIA patients choose to go home. So he's like, okay, great. See? All right, now, unhook me from this piece of shit. Babe, give me my clothes. So Naomi was like, Doug, what happens to them when they go home? The ones who refused medical advice, and Doug was like, most experience no adverse effects. She's like, most, not all. She's like, look, Dad, this is not the damn lottery. He was like, you can't legally keep me here. That's what Bill says. And so Dougie is like, well, that wouldn't stop me if I had a reason to. But I don't. If you guys are determined, I'm going to need you to do 3 things. Bill was like, name them. He says, I'm going to need you to get some rest. Take an aspirin daily as a precaution. And I'm going to need you two to monitor him just like how we do in here. And Bill, I'm going to need you to be honest. If anything changes, I'm going to need you to immediately contact the nurses here. Haley was like, oh, he can't lie to me. And Naomi was like, he can damn try with me, but I ain't going to believe his ass. Bill was like, it's a small price to pay, baby, to get out of this death trap. Naomi thanks Dougie and he says, I'll send her the nurse with the paperwork. So Danny busts in, so she thanks Doug for being there. And so Haley, the first thing this bitch says, Danny, we are not in the mood for one of your tirades. Danny was like, and neither am I. She looks at Bill and says, I need to know that you're all right. Ooh, the look in his eyes. Ooh, it's like he's saying, thank you for coming. I'm telling you, I got a feeling that Vernon and Anita made him. He did so much dirt, and they didn't think that she was worthy of her being connected to him. They made that man do the most dastardly thing to hurt her. They said she's beautiful, she'll get over you, but I need for you to choose somebody, marry them. We're gonna make her come to your wedding. We're gonna make you live here. We're gonna help you with the house, and we're gonna take care because we need for you to keep Martin's secret. And they made him do what he needed to do. I think Bill still loves Danny. I really believe that he still loves her. Ooh, we are back at the palace, and Anita has given Vernon the letter by Barbara. So Anita tells Vernon, you think you know me, but you didn't know that you was marrying a woman who was capable of... I destroyed a lifelong friend, and I never looked back. My stone cold ambition crushed Barbara to the point where she offed herself. Ooh, Vernon get ready to say something that's gonna make me cry. He said, I did discover something about you today. He says, you've been endowed with godlike powers. Anita's like, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I did. So Vernon takes off his glasses and he gets stern with her. He says, you were self-serving, short-sighted, like most of us in our younger days. So Anita's like, honey, you make it sound like, he says, normal, forgivable, regrettable. Yes, but you didn't do this to Barbara, baby. Only God knew what was going on in her head. Her depression, her loneliness, her inability to see way past her deep sadness. And that's what I was saying. It had nothing to do with that. If that was the thing that took her out, no, that girl had a whole slew of issues that were there. And that was the pinnacle. She might have been abused when she was a little girl and she needed a way out. She might have continued going through her abuse and she was like, I can't go back to that stuff. I might as well go ahead and take myself out. That's what she probably was going through. But of course, Anita is hard on herself, plus Sharon and Tracy. They pile on top of her, making her feel guilty. But no, Anita, of course, didn't have anything to do with that girl doing what she did to herself. So Vernon was like, that's the shit that took her away from this world. Anita was like, baby, you just make it sound like it just happened to her. No, Vernon, I happened to her. And it's right here. She grabs the letter out of his hand. It's right here in black and white. I could have said no to Dante. The four of us could have knocked on other doors together. But I didn't have enough faith to believe there would be another door. He says opportunities were few and far between back then, even for a talent like yours. So it was worth it for me to just throw my sister under the bus, Anita says. Vernon, you didn't make that or take that decision on your own. Anita, Vernon, stop making excuses for me. See, this is the real reason why I didn't tell you. Because you always know how to make me feel better, no matter how bad things are, no matter how horrible I am. And I don't deserve that. I deserve this. And she shakes the letter at him. And Vernon was like, and believing that does what? He stands there, flat-footed again, crosses his arms. Changes what, he says. Tell me, does making yourself hurt now make up for what you did back then? Oh, Vernon. Does it bring Barbara back? She says nothing could do that. He says, then stop wishing away your life and minimizing by indulge. Stop minimizing your life and focusing on Barbara with all of this self-blame. I'm sorry, I was just so into it, girl. I fucked that part all up because it's so good. And she was like, I need to. He interrupts her. He says, you need forgiveness. So the whole gamut of this whole scene is that she's carrying on this guilt as if she was the one who killed Barbara. Again, Barbara might have been dealing with so many sadness and depressions and personal struggles and personal things that she went through that the girls might not have ever known about. Only Barbara knew it. And she just knew that getting out of the ghetto or getting out of Cabrini Green was getting out as a singer. That was going to be the way out. But because she was rejected by the man who was going to give them their dreams, she was the only one that was rejected. She took it as a rejection against her and not thinking about the fact that maybe there's going to be another person that comes along and give me my solo career or give me another girl group. She just gave up, you know. So that might have been the pinnacle. That might have been the peak of her struggles. And she just was like, I can't take it no more. And so in turn, instead of her telling them all the shit that she went through, she blamed Anita. Because Anita did exactly what Dante told her. A lot of us was young and dumb. And we had this man who thought he was going to sweep us off our feet and make our dreams come true. And we were so impressionable that we did exactly what the fuck he wanted us to do. All of us been like that. Not just a man or a woman or whoever it is listening to me. All of us have made stupid decisions. Whew, let me get off my soapbox. Okay, back to the show. Vernon tells her that she needs to honor Barbara, but also, honey, you need to forgive yourself. And you need to stop this, girl. So we're back at Orphe Jeans, and so Sharon and Tracy are still talking. Because remember, Tracy ain't said nothing. It's only been Sharon talking. So Sharon tells Tracy for years she has always dreamed of attempting to do a comeback. So she was like, but realistically, there are not a lot of second acts for divas of a certain age. Girl, don't I know it. I would have never thought that me being 54 would at least be as close to 1,000 subscribers on this channel. It's always, and I started acting. I always say that I'm an actress. I started acting, y'all. Theater actress at age 40. I'm 54. You do the math. That tells you how long I've been a theater actress. Prior to that, I sang in church, sang in choirs. That's all I did. But as far as having the second act in my life, what I'm doing right now, only 14 years. Oh, damn, I gave y'all the answer. I must love y'all. So Sharon is letting her wheels spinning. She was like, girl, I would need like some type of miracle hook. So Tracy was like in her head, like, fuck all that. So are you in? So Sharon was like, whether it's one night or the whole damn tour, Anita will be the draw. But once we are up on that stage, baby, we are going to steal that spotlight right from under her. And people will remember how much they love my voice. They love me too. And the second they do, baby, I'm out. I'm gone. Flying solo again. But we can't let Anita run this show. We gotta insist on lead vocals. We'll split the songs in 3 ways, like it always should have been. Tracy was like, girl, it should have been 4 ways, not 3. So Tracy's like, are you really not going to tell Anita that your reasons are purely selfish, girl? So Sharon was like, girl, you sitting here telling me this like Anita needs to be protected. After what the fuck she did? Abandoning us so that she could become a superstar. She, of all people, should understand that selfish is the only way to win, baby. We're back at the hospital, so he's talking about, sorry to disappoint, Danny, but the rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated. This is Bill talking to Danny. Now we just need Chelsea, and he'll have all the women that he loves in one room. So he's like, what, did you come to see if I faked having a stroke? So she looks at Naomi. She says, stroke? So Naomi was like, mini stroke. The doctors are sending him home with instructions just to rest. So he was like, I could call the doctors back in here to testify for you. She's like, honey, like you would fake something like this. She's like, you are scared as hell of this place. He was like, well, no, I wouldn't say that. She's like, yeah, you would say you can check in, but you can't check out. She says, when I went into labor with Naomi, honey, you was more scared than I was. She puts her hand on his shoulder and he smiles. Is Haley seeing this, girl? Open your eyes, Haley. Open your eyes. So Danny shows some empathy and she says, I know this, how debilitating this can be for you. I know it's taking everything in your power not to climb out of this bed, you know. So he was like, if it sounds worse than how it feels, and they would treat this symptom way more than just giving me some aspirin. Ooh, Danny says that doesn't mean that it didn't scare the pontificating arrogance right out of you. Okay, you know, beyond Gates with their big words, baby. Big bad Bill can't stand to be out of control for 1 minute. She was like, for all the space that you take out there, like out of this room, honey, you are just a man in here. She said, you can go ahead and do whatever you need to do with these doctors and nurses, or you can tap into that bill that you make everybody else bend over at your will and take care of yourself. Drop the pride and do whatever those doctors have telling you to do it so that you can get back in this shape and stop fighting for your life now. So Danny says, I know you can do this because I know you. And he was like, yes, you do. And so Danny was like, and don't you dare insinuate and saying that I wish this on your ass. He was like, well, what would ever give you that impression? She was like, honey, if I wanted you dead, you would be. Honey. Haley is like, he never act like that with me. He just want to do his fun. So we're back at Uptown, and so Chelsea and the young lady are still talking. And so she tells Chelsea that her name is Madison, and of course, Chelsea said, I'm Chelsea. What were you thinking about if it wasn't me? So Madison was like thinking about saving the world, and did I turn off my curling iron this morning? So Chelsea was like, well, did you come to any conclusions? So Madison tells her she was interrupted by someone with what was on her mind. So Chelsea was like, well, you obviously, and I'm starting my own fashion label. So that's always occupying mental real estate. But I really love it. Okay, so Chelsea asks her what she does. She's like, girl, it's my day off. I like to separate work from everything else. So what does she do? So Chelsea's like, you're the first. I don't think I've met anyone in this town who's not willing to flex or complain about their job. So Madison was like, you want to take a guess? And Chelsea was like, sure. We live in D.C. and it's both the home to the CIA and the FBI. Maybe you're mysterious for a living. When I tell you that Chelsea is real aggressive when it comes to being, turning on or coming on to women, I never knew this side of her. Did y'all? I didn't know that she has parts of her mother and her father, so I can understand that aggressive nature, that go-get-it nature. But she could barely tell her mom that she was, like women and that she wanted to start her own business. But when it comes to women, that girl she kind of aggressive, honey. She knows what she wants and she has no problem approaching them. Go ahead, Chels. Am I flirting with Jane Bond right now? So Madison was like, well, if I was a spy, honey, wouldn't I lie about it? So Chelsea was like, good point. Well, if you're going to be a woman of mystery, I'll be all facts, no filter. Ask me whatever you like. We are back at the precinct. I know you're like, good grief, Shar. You did the whisper voice and now you're back to your regular voice. Yeah, I do that. We're back at the precinct, and so Kat is still there sitting on Jacob's desk, and he was like, I thought you was gone, girl. She was like, girl, after you said boom and all being all happy, you think I'm going to skedaddle? No. So what's the good news? So he tells her that Judge Faraday is granting them a search warrant. Yay! For Leslie's apartment. So he said the standard for warrants are lower than 4 arrests. So Kat was like, you would not have gotten that warrant without me, nigga. I'm just saying, someone owes someone an apology. So Jacob was like, how about you just settle for a very hesitant, very begrudging thank you. So she says close enough. So she asks him, what does he think that they'll find at her apartment? So he says some perps hang on to things to remember the crime, like the syringe or the helmet. Leslie is very proud of what she did. She can't quite let go. So Kat was like, ooh, if you find a direct link like that, then Jacob was like, then I'm one step closer, honey. So she's like, fantastic. We at Orphe Jean's. Andre is eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, after he had his little boom boom time with Danny. And like what I said earlier, here comes Leslie. You're Andre, right? He was like, I'm going to stop your ass right there. Because, does she really think that Andre is going to help her after what she did to his uncle? Ted told him everything, girl. Why is she's really trying to get on that video. And so she's really just crossing all the lines. She's looking desperate. When she told Shanice that she was desperate, she's actually looking desperate now. I kind of Feel bad for her because we're so used to seeing Leslie in so much control and being unbothered. This thing is bothering the fuck out of her. So Andre was like, let me stop you right there because you don't want to talk to me. Your reputation precedes you. She says, she says, so does yours. Wrong. World-class Playboy photographer who was slumming it, capturing every moment at that anniversary party. So he was like, all right, I got you. So that's what you're playing with me, right? How? So you want to see the footage, huh? He said, well, that's a tough one, honey, because it'll never hit your timeline. She's like, well, it's nice to know that my work is appreciated. Andre was like, look, I don't remember saying all that. He was like, excuse me. He turned his back so he could finish his fries. So she sits down again, uninvited. She sits down everywhere when she's uninvited. Girl, you just showed you really thought that everybody was going to be on your side after that party. She thought that. So she was like, well, actually, I'm just really interested in just one of your videos. He was like, I ain't no damn streaming service, Leslie. So she was like, you made this nurse documentary, right? You were working with some footage from a security camera. He was like, yeah. He was like, so you want to see your cameo, huh? She says that some people have a right to see the evidence that's against them so they can have a chance to refute it. Then she threatens him and tells him she wants to see it now. It's like the deadness in her eyes. It's like she has no heart. You snooze, you lose. She was too busy being all in Ted's room trying to get him back in line to him about Eva and she even wanting them together. That tape has been seen by so many people. It's been seen by Mona. It's been seen by Ted. It's been seen by who else? Nicole. It's been seen by Jacob. It's been seen by so many people, and her priorities got so mixed up. She got so focused on wanting Ted back that video is already seen by so many people and it's in police custody. So if she would have been on ahead of the game like she was in the beginning, she won't look so desperate. She would not be looking so desperate right now. So you snooze, you lose, sis. So we're back at the hospital and we see Haley, feeling a little uncomfortable. Danny has her hand on her hips. Naomi is looking like, so here go Haley. Bill needs to get dressed so I can take him home. So Danny was like, so when you were role playing this nurse, did you actually learn how to take out an IV? So Haley picks up the little call button. She pushes it. She's like, there, the nurse is on the way. So Naomi was like, okay, Dad, promise you'll actually rest and that you'll follow the doctor's orders, okay? So he's talking about there go his plans about conquering Mount Everest this afternoon. So Naomi tells him that she will be texting him religiously, and he loves that. So she gives him a little peck on the forehead. So she tells her mother with her head like, let's get up out of here and leave that bitch in here with him. Right when she hit the door, he says, Danny? She turns around and says, yeah, Bill. He says, thank you for coming. What? We're back at Uptown, and Chelsea is still flirting with Madison. I guess they're playing 20 questions, and they're having a good time. She's vibing. Like, Chelsea got over, what's her name? Allison real quick, didn't she? I mean, it's really nothing. They're just getting to know each other like you should do. Hopefully she finds out if the girl is married or not, so she can know how that's going to go. Can't wait to find out who she connected with. I wonder who. So they ask about, what's the meaning of life? And she's like, I don't even really know. I'm game. And she's like, you know what? That is my meaning. Like, I'm game. I'm game for anything. I want to experience people and places and things. And, I want them to be interesting. I just want to try everything I can in this life. I don't like this lady asking her all these questions. I wonder if she's like a reporter. So the girl was like, well, what experience do you like the most? She's like, well, now we treading down X-rated territory. Are we there yet? And the girl was like, no. She said, well, let's let it be PG, okay? And then she talked about some story about her going to Milan. So after she talked about being in France and getting on this float with a bunch of Italian strangers and she felt like she belonged. Don't know where that came from. But anyway, she finally checks her message and then she got it from Naomi. She says, Dad was in the hospital, but he's going to be fine. And so she's looking shocked. See, that's what I told you. You was around there trying to get that kitty cat when you should have been with your pappy. So we're back at Orphe Jean's. I thought that Leslie and them were, well, which booth are they sitting at, y'all? Because ain't Leslie and Andre right there? Where are they sitting? Anyway, everybody's at Orphe Jean's. So Sharon And Tracy is sitting there. So Tracy was like, girl, you just straight up said it. So Sharon was like, don't worry, I can act too. Then she goes into this whole speech about, oh, Anita, I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm so sorry for letting my emotions run away with me. Sharon is a mess. I'm all in. Tracy is looking at her like, girl. Tracy's like, look, you and Anita need to work this out on your own. And Sharon was like, not without a referee. And Tracy was like, Sharon was like, you and me, girl. You and me, we still got a bond, Tracy. I'm only faking it with Anita. Tracy's like, I'll come with you, but only if your ass come clean. Sharon was like, why? We don't owe her a damn thing. Tracy's like, girl, but you know we do owe somebody else something. Barbara now. Now we can't come back together with lies between us. We're back at the palace, honey. And so Vernon asked Anita, would it help if we do something for Barbara's family? And so Anita was like, I thought it would. So Vernon was like, what did you do? And she's like, gave them money. So Vernon was like, did they turn it down? So she said she made sure that when it came from them, that they didn't know that when she gave them the money, that they didn't know that it came from her. She said she gave her family the money that Barbara would have made if she had stayed with the group. So Vernon was like, so you might have given a little bit more than that. She was like, pretty much, she was like, yeah, I did. She said, but all the money in the world would not replace what they lost. And she was like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I'm trying to regain what's gone, only stirred up more pain inside me. So Vernon tries to comfort her, like, baby. She's like, no, 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 no. The reunion is off. The articulates will not be getting back together. So, damn, we are back at the precinct. And so Kat tells Jacob, like, look, actors ride around with cops all the time. Then damn Jacob calls Kat Zendaya. Do you really think you're going to get deputized, girl? So he's like, do you have just a few years to spare to go to academy and train in the special investigative victims unit? Do you have time for that, girl? You just started at Purse Line. So Kat was like thinking, I was just thinking that I would do more of like a consultant. That's what I would be doing. So Jacob was like, I just can't have you going in there without being worried about you, Kat. So Jacob was like, Leslie is very unpredictable. And Kat was like, you mean Gray? He was like, girl, you can't say that on a search, and your presence there, girl, for any evidence I find might be thrown out. So no, you can't go. So Kat tells him cutting her out is a huge mistake. It's a big mistake. It's real, real huge. So Kat talks to herself, or at least she's talking to us, and telling us that she's going to make sure that Leslie gets everything that she deserves with or without Jacob's help. So we're back at Orphe Jeans, and so Andre was telling Leslie, like, you ain't in court yet. No one owes you discovery at all. He's like, I'm Uncle Ted and Aunt Nicole's nephew, heifer. All right, this is personal to me. And Laura, man, I mean, she was completely innocent. And yet you hurt her because she stood in the way of what? Your twisted little damn revenge? Here she go lying again. I didn't touch that girl. Not with a motorcycle or syringe. Andre, no. He tells her that he's going to show her the security tape. He said cameras don't lie even when you do. So finally, Leslie sees the tape, and she sees it's just the back of her and the top of the wig. It doesn't show her face. So he says, see, there you go, going into Laura's room with the syringe hanging out your pocket. No, he didn't say that. He's like, there. And so Leslie just started laughing in his fucking face. She said, that ain't me. Clearly, I am way harder than that. Playboy. He was like, hello, I'm a photographer. Although I work behind the camera, I can also see what's in front of it. He said stylists can layer all they want to, with the wigs and the outfits. But my lens, it cuts through. I see your ass. I see the way you shift and the way you hold your eyes, hold your weight. You can't hide that. There is no disguising your ass. So there she go again. She loves to bring in Ted. You and Ted would love to just put me away. Have Eva all to yourself, wouldn't you? You and the police have nothing on me. So he turned around and took a picture of her. And so he was like, well, actually, now I do. She was like, what the hell? So Andre was like, maybe the police need an assist. He says, I got all kinds of software. You know this picture? This picture might be the very key that we need of taking off your damn disguise. So we're back at the hospital with that hard that hard cut to the next scene. So Naomi tells Danny that she really didn't expect for her to come there. Naomi was like, Mom, I was just freaking out and I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. And so Danny was like, girl, baby, that's why I had to come to make sure I was here for you. So Naomi was like, how in the world did you have it? I mean, how did you do that? Because you weren't just the polite or nice. You acted like you were like the daddy whisperer. She said, because I started thinking that if he didn't make it, I had to. So Naomi was like, I got pissed at him for springing that baby news on me. Then the next second I got scared because I was afraid he might never, ever, ever talk again. So she was like, Danny was like, I just needed to know that he was still in this world because I am not done being mad with his ass. And he don't have a right to slip and to slip away and go to hell on me. So Naomi gives Danny this big hug. And so Danny was like, girl, what's this for? She's like, I'm just happy to know that you're in the world too, Mom. And I love you. I love you too. So we go back to the hospital room and he's finally getting up and getting dressed. And so he tells Haley, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. So he sits her down and he tells her that Danny and he are done. Yeah, right. So he was like, they were together for a long time and you just can't completely sever a connection like that entirely. Especially not during stressful moments like this. She's like, well, I'm just happy that she was able to talk you down before you hulked out and tried to escape. Girl, Bill ain't got no Hulk in his body. She's like, but yeah, I was a little jelly that I wasn't the one to do that for you. He was like, she is my past and you and this baby are the future. Blech. And so he leaned in to kiss her and she leaned back. She's like, careful. The doctor warned you about that blood flow. When she said blood flow, she looked out at his D. He was like, oh, come here. You're worth any risk, Mrs. Hamilton. So we're back at Orphe Jeans. And so Sharon is telling Tracy, like, do you really think that I owe Anita a fact check about my intentions, girl? So she was like, fine. This diva can handle laying it out for her. I'll be honest about using the reunion to relaunch my career. I'm going to be honest about that shit. It might make things a little tense, but if Anita thinks I'm doing it for the wrong reason, so the fuck what? So Tracy really thinks that Anita will respect that. So Tracy's like, look, I'll respect it too because I don't want to be the one that's stuck in the damn middle. So Tracy's phone is buzzing, and so Sharon was like, you in that damn phone, girl. I'll be right back. So she had a little sip of some drink. So she had that one last sip, and she slammed that damn cup on the table. She's like, ow, I love that. Damn. So she going to take a pee like what Haley should have did yesterday. So it's Vernon calling Tracy. So Tracy was like, well, hello there, Senator. So Vernon is looking around the corner, making sure that Anita can't hear him. He's like, there's no other way to say this, but, and to make sure that I need to come straight out with it. He tells her that Anita has decided that she does not want to do the reunion concert. So, and Tracy was like, wait a minute, she couldn't tell me that shit herself? So Vernon was like, I'm calling you because I need you to understand something. He said, if backing out the concert is really what you and Sharon want, then you don't need to do a damn thing. But if you can really see the value of y'all getting together like y'all were before, like one last time. She's like, I hear you, Vernon, honey. Thank you. So he hangs up the phone, and by the time he hangs up the phone, Anita comes back in, and she's like, oh, she looks exhausted, like emotionally exhausted. She's like, I'm so spent. And so Vernon was like, yeah, I'm sure I understand. I definitely understand that. You've been through quite a lot today, baby. He says, I'm sure that it wasn't that easy for you to tell me about Barbara. She was like, you have no idea. And then Vernon and the slow piano plays. He's like, Anita, my love, I do. He says he knows that carrying around that type of guilt is like drinking poison, as if suffering can rewrite the past. Oh, that man said a word. He says, but it won't. It is time to let that shit go. He says, I'm here right now, and I will not let you go through this alone. And that is today's episode. It was a very solemn ending, very low, energy, but very revealing. It revealed that Bill still loves Danny. Danny is choosing to let her guards down a little bit with Dre. Of course, Sharon tells her truth about the fact that she gonna look. I need the money. If we're gonna use Anita to get back on top, let us do it because I need to be able to have my second act privilege. Go ahead and make it number one because Anita show ain't doing shit. I can do it. There was a lot of truths in here, and I really did like it. It was a very nice midweek episode. Not a lot of fussing and carrying on and stuff, but it was pretty good. Mental health is important. Physical health is important. Relationships, everything is important when it comes to our community. So thank y'all so much for joining me today. Keep the chitter chatter going, and we'll be back first before we're going to do our front porch talk before the gates open. We're going to do that. Then we'll be back tomorrow with episode number 67 with Beyond the Gates. Y'all be blessed, all right, and be good. Love you. Bye.